Now these Druski allegations that have been going around are crazy. As Diddy awaits trial in May, more and more names are getting pulled into the mix, and the next person caught in his downfall is Druski. Druski, a 30-year-old comedian from Maryland, is a massive social media star, known for his funny skits. He's built his image as a comedian, someone who people go to for laughter. But recently, his name has been dragged into something much more serious, which is Diddy's shenanigans. His connection to Diddy's scandal is now raising eyebrows. I mean, being linked to the allegations against Diddy is not where you want to be, and Druski's alleged involvement has shocked a lot of people. The lawsuit in question was originally filed by Ashley Parham back in October, but was updated just a few days ago on March 7. The modified suit introduced two unnamed individuals, referred to as Jane and John Doe, along with 20 other defendants. Among those names, Odell Beckham Jr. and Druski himself. Now here's how the story starts, and we'll get to how Druski's name got wrapped into this entire thing. Back in February 2018, Ashley, the woman who filed this lawsuit, first met a man named Shane after an altercation at a bar with another man. Shane stepped in to help, and from there, they got acquainted. Later that night, while outside the bar with friends and other people, Shane pulled out his phone and FaceTimed Diddy. He started showing people the video call, trying to flex his connection to the music mogul. Now at one point, he even showed Ashley Parham Diddy on a call, but she wasn't apparently impressed and ignored it. Her reasoning? She believed Diddy had something to do with the murder of Tupac Shakur. During the FaceTime call, Diddy was visible on a screen, along with some of his children, including his sons, Christian and Quincy. From Ashley Parham's perspective, it looked like Diddy was hosting some kind of gathering at his home while talking to Shane. But then, things took a turn. Diddy overheard Ashley's comment about him and Tupac. According to the lawsuit, he didn't take this lightly. He allegedly responded by saying that Ashley would pay for that statement. Fast forward to March 23, 2018, Shane invited Ashley over to his home. He claimed he needed help with his cancer medication, saying he was too weak to open it himself. When Ashley Parham arrived at Shane's home, he told her he wanted to take her for a ride in his new car. She agreed, and the two briefly left his residence before returning. Once they got back, Shane left the door to his apartment slightly open, telling Ashley that there was an issue with the door because it couldn't close completely. At the time, Shane was renting an apartment on the lower floor of a home in Orinda, California. Shane's apartment had its own separate entrance that led directly to the backyard of the home. However, the property also had a main entrance, located on Loma Vista Drive. At the time, Shane was renting this space from a woman who lived upstairs. She also had two dogs that stayed with her in the upper portion of the house. After returning from their drive home, Shane and Ashley sat down to watch a movie. At one point, Shane offered her a glass of water, which he went to retrieve and brought back to her. Up until this point, Ashley Parham's visit to Shane's home seemed ordinary. A short drive, a casual movie, nothing out of the ordinary. But then, Diddy walked in. Approximately 10 minutes after Ashley and Shane returned from their drive, Diddy had officially entered the residence, and he didn't come in quietly. According to the lawsuit, Diddy made a loud, grand entrance, like he was ready to party. His arrival was so over the top that the dogs upstairs immediately started barking. Now interestingly, Diddy didn't use the backyard entrance, which led directly to Shane's apartment. Instead, Diddy entered through the home's main entrance, and he wasn't alone. With him was a group of people, including his bodyguard, Big Homie CC, and several others. KK, Brandy, and Doe 2, who was allegedly a friend of both Shane and Diddy. Meanwhile, Diddy's driver, Doe 3, remained outside in the car. At this point, Ashley Parham started to realize something disturbing. According to the lawsuit, she now believes that Shane invited her over with the intent to set her up, allowing Diddy to retaliate against her for the comment she made about him a month earlier. And from the moment Diddy stepped inside, it was clear that he hadn't forgotten. As soon as he arrived, Diddy immediately began taunting Ashley. He allegedly mocked her by saying, "You thought you'd never see me in person." Then he brought up her past remarks about Tupac. He reminded her that she had dismissed him on a FaceTime call and allegedly told her that she was going to pay for what she had said. And according to Ashley, Diddy had told her that he had caught her. Now Ms. Parham was in complete shock. Never in a million years did she think that she would see or meet Diddy in real life, let alone inside a small apartment rented by this guy called Shane. But what happened next was even more terrifying. According to the lawsuit, Diddy suddenly moved towards Ashley. But what happened next was even more terrifying. Diddy suddenly moved towards Ashley while she was sitting on Shane's bed. In his hand, Diddy had a knife. He allegedly held the blade to the right side of her face and threatened her. Diddy told her he would give her a Glasgow smile, which is essentially a wound caused by making a cut of a person's mouth up to their ears. If you've seen Sons of Anarchy, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But before Diddy could go further, one of his associates, KK, stepped in. KK told Diddy that giving Ashley a Glasgow smile wouldn't be a good idea. not because it was wrong, but because it wouldn't be advantageous for their potential clients. The implication, they were planning to traffic her. KK then allegedly turned to Ashley and made an even darker threat. They could send her anywhere in the world, and she would never see her family or anyone she knew ever again. Long story short, things escalated even further. Shane partially undressed Ashley before Diddy took over, removing the rest of her clothing while still holding the knife to her face. After that, Diddy pulled out a bottle of liquid from a large fanny pack. At first, Ashley feared the worst. She thought she was going to be sprayed with acid, but moments later, she realized it was something else. It was oil or lubricant, and according to the lawsuit, Diddy squirted it all over her entire body. What happened next was pure horror. Diddy, seemingly tired of Ashley's cries, gave Shane an order. He said, "Turn her on her stomach." Shane complied, grabbing Ashley by her abdomen and hips before flipping her over. But that wasn't the end of Diddy's shenanigans. He then allegedly told Shane to put a pillow over her head because he didn't want to see her face or hear her cries. And then the lawsuit states that Diddy instructed this Shane guy to forcefully put it in number 2, and apparently he did. Moments later, Diddy followed. After Diddy, another associate, referred to as Doe number 2, also took part in the assault before leaving the apartment. And obviously at this point in the story, the details in this lawsuit are beyond disturbing. But this next part is where the boy Druski, Drew, is introduced. According to the lawsuit, Diddy then gave another order, and this time to Druski. Now the boy Druski allegedly poured more oil or lubricant on her body, and then jumped on top of her naked and oiled body, treating it like a slip and slide. And the lawsuit specifically says, due to his enormous size, the impact knocked the wind out of Ashley, leaving her struggling to breathe. Now, scientifically speaking, the gravitational force exerted by Druski's mass in a free fall scenario would likely result in a catastrophic event upon impact. And obviously, no disrespect to Druski, but he's a big fella, right? What I'm saying is, if this actually happened, the sheer force distributed across this woman's torso she would have died. According to the lawsuit, Druski nearly slid off the bed after jumping on Ashley's oiled body, but managed to catch himself. How the fuck would Druski actually even catch himself after jumping? I just don't get this part. This part is just funny, bro. I'm just trying to imagine this shit. Like, it's funny. Druski jumping, trying to catch himself. This is crazy. Then the lawsuit states he began raping her vaginally. I can't say this, right? And then according to the lawsuit, while this was happening, Diddy sat nearby in a chair watching the assault take place. According to the lawsuit, he was masturbating while recording the attack on his phone. The lawsuit also says that after Druski allegedly finished doing this, another associate, KK, entered the room. At this point, Ashley was barely able to move. The lawsuit states that she had lost control over her bodily functions, completely weakened by the attack. KK then proceeded to examine her condition, as in checking to see the extent of the damage that was done. According to the lawsuit, after the ordeal was over, Diddy, Shane, KK, Odell Beckham Jr., and Druski all left the room. They stepped outside into the backyard where they smoked some Mary J. and cigarettes, seemingly unfazed by what had just happened. So that's the full extent of Druski's alleged involvement with Diddy. Now, these are, of course, just allegations, and Druski himself has publicly responded to clear his name. This allegation is a fabricated lie. I wasn't a public figure in 2018. I was broke, living with my mom, without any connections to the entertainment industry at the time of this allegation. So the inclusion of my name is truly outlandish. My heart breaks for actual victims of abuse, but I'm fully confident that the evidence will expose this falsehood and the individuals who are maliciously trying to game the legal system to peddle false narratives. So Druski is obviously saying, all this shit, bruh, all this shit is cap. I wasn't even famous back then, which is true because Druski blew up around the pandemic and had his really big moment after that point. However, even though he's telling the truth, Druski was still, even in 2018, connected to the entertainment business. As an example, he was featured on the music video of this song called Where I'm From in the summer of 2018. The song featured rapper T Grizzly. Now, obviously, this doesn't prove anything about his guilt, that goes without saying, and to be fair, he probably was still broke back then, right? But that doesn't mean that he wasn't connected to the music industry. The reality is a lot of people in the entertainment industry spend years, sometimes even decades, grinding before they actually break through. And most times they're already in the mix, rubbing shoulders with major figures, long before the public knows who they are. Now, when it comes to Druski and Diddy specifically, it's hard to say how close they really were back then. Because in most cases, if you don't have something to lose, they're not going to let you into certain circles. It's only once you've got some skin in the game, they let you peek through the door. Druski has had a close relationship with Diddy's children throughout the years, so it does make sense why he's found himself around Diddy in certain situations. And honestly, these Druski allegations are definitely a problem, but not for the reason you might think. It's not that I'm convinced that, Druski is guilty because, just keeping it real, they sound exaggerated, almost like something out of a sitcom, or a cartoon would probably be a better example. I mean, Druski slipping and sliding on what, 150-pound woman's body? I mean, it sounds very cartoonish. By the way, I don't really know how much she weighs. I'm just picking a random number. 150 pounds sounds average, I guess. I don't know. Also, why was Druski mentioned now and not when the lawsuit was originally filed? I just have a lot of questions about this. Where the problem actually comes in, though, is this. You really don't know who in the music industry is going to get dragged into this Diddy saga from this point on. What a lot of people don't realize is just how many people Diddy has touched, no pun intended, in the music industry. Diddy's influence in the game is massive, and part of the reason he kept rising was because he had a reputation for bringing people into his world. He's always been seen as someone who opened up his arms and connected with everybody. Diddy wanted everyone with any level of fame, especially those moving in the same circles as him, to be at his parties, his gatherings, and inside of his world. He thrived on being the center of attention, and that's part of the reason why he's been in the position he was in for such a long time, among plenty of other things as well. I mean, at this point, you really don't know who's gonna be next, okay? I mean, if Druski can get wrapped up in Diddy's fallout, who won't? I mean, you might just fuck around and see me at one of these lawsuits now. You just never know. I could have been at one of these Diddy parties. Yo, I wasn't showing my face for all this time. You never know. Maybe that's why I didn't show my face, because I was at them Diddy. I think Druski's gonna be fine in the end, but it's still concerning to see him getting dragged into this, especially when, for all we know, he might have absolutely nothing to do with any of this. Diddy's trial is coming up in May, and if this trial starts pulling more and more people in the industry into the mix, things are only gonna get more convoluted. And honestly, I don't really know how I feel about that, because at the end of the day, Diddy's accused of some truly heinous crimes. And what I'd rather see is for things to actually stay focused on the actual case. Now, if any of the people who get dragged into this case actually did something, then I don't really think there's an issue with it. Obviously, they're gonna have to face the music. And I'm not gonna lie, there's some entertainment in seeing who's next. But at the same time, there's also a real danger in how quickly this is spiraling. My personal verdict, at the end of the day, these are just allegations against Druski. Personally, I don't really know how truthful they actually are, and honestly, if you just ask me, these allegations don't really sound believable, okay, just to me. But then again, you never really know, right? I don't know Druski personally, so I can't vouch for him. But what's strange is why his name was included in the first place. Could this be a witch hunt, or is there something deeper going on? I guess only time will tell. Anyway, if you made it all the way till the end, drop a like on this video for me, okay? Appreciate you guys so much for watching this video. And if you're new here, my name is Blacky Speaks. Nice to meet you, okay? Nice to meet you. Thank you for subscribing and welcome to the family. What do you guys think about this, Druski link, or Druski's link to Diddy? Supposed, obviously alleged link, right? Y'all think these allegations are truthful or straight cap? I'll catch you guys in the comment section below, but most importantly of all, I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm out. Deuces. Peace.